welcome back to another episode of Behind the Lens. And today I have with me Carissa of the Selfie Showroom. Some people may know her as Diamond Eyezzz from her photography. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about her, the Selfie Showroom, the transition, and how all of that has gone. So, Carissa, you want to kind of introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Carissa, formerly known as Diamond Eyezzz Photography, and now I am the Selfie Showroom. I'm still kind of Diamond Eyezzz, but just not the photography part anymore. But I've been doing photography for 13 years, and I've had my showroom open for 4 months so far.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what was the transition like between, stopping photography and then deciding like, this is what I want to do as far as the Selfie Showroom?
Well, a lot of my photography was based off of like birthday shoots, and with the birthday shoots, I would do like different themes for people. So it just became like a plethora of like themes, like from lemonade stands to red carpets. I even did like a tub scene. Like I was doing all these different like ideas for people. But with my studio, I can only like make one scene at a time. It wasn't like I could like have them all at the same time. Now I did visit a couple selfie museums, but they were all like one themed selfie museum. They would have like ice cream museum or a trap house museum. So it would kind of have one theme throughout the entire museum. And it wasn't until I kind of started to see like other people pop up with selfie museums when I noticed that like you can actually do multiple themes. And so that's when I wanted to kind of jump into that field, transition over, because I was just the person with all the theme ideas like here in Jacksonville. So I was like wanting to do multiple themes.
Okay. That sounds cool. So where did you see like the ice cream museum and some of the other ones? Like, where did you go to visit those?
New York, right before the pandemic, though. So I went to New York, and that's when I went to visit the Museum of Ice Cream. And then the Trap House Museum is in Atlanta.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So, okay. And then I guess my next question is, so did a lot of your props and stuff like transition over to the Selfie Showroom?
Yes, because my theme, I feel like, overall theme, I wanted it to be kind of like royalty and kings and queens, stuff like that. I already had like a bunch of throne chairs, so I did transfer that over and kind of incorporate that in a lot of the sets. So mine was just like kind of like, honestly, mine was, Megan Thee Stallion Savage song. It was, I'm classy, bougie, ratchet, what I'm saying? So I try to make scenes that like would go with that theme. Like you got a mixture of everything in there.
Okay. Yeah, so out of all the rooms that you've created, is one like your favorite, one that stands out the most to you?
Yeah, I actually like the front the most. That's actually my favorite. It doesn't have a particular theme, but the mural was painted by Arcisa. She's very talented tattoo artist here, and I just really love the colors, the gold and everything. I meant to be up there today, but I thought about the traffic between, on Mondays, and I just realized that I took long on my makeup. But that was really good. And, I do love the money room too. A lot of people like the money room. You could do like slow-mos in there. It kind of gives you, that's kind of a room I feel like I cannot let go of, like even if I had to change other ones.
Yeah, I've seen that one just on your social media being used a lot, like with the money gun and that's the one with like this gold with a throne chair in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's very popular. I like that one too. That was probably one of my favorites when I went. I think I like the throne room, that one. I like the Barbie. You had I think it was the Barbie box set up, and then the one that had like the roses and kind of like the swing set. I thought that was really cute. So are there some that you like change out seasonally? Are there some that you keep? Like, how do you decide?
Yeah. Some of the areas I didn't have like done at all, so I was using those areas for seasonal spots. So I just kind of like wanted to switch it out. Like I'm gonna have a grass wall that I kind of switch out with different color flowers, seasonally and stuff. I just didn't want to have to change the entire selfie room
Okay.
because not everybody has gotten a chance to come by and use the sets that are there. So I wanted to just have areas that get changed out every now and then.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, kind of walk me through the experience of like what people can expect when they come to the selfie showroom.
Okay, well, typically you can order your tickets online, but if you prefer to walk in, you can walk in. Saturdays are probably the busiest days, so I like highly recommend ordering online for those days. But other days you can just walk in and purchase your ticket there. You can also walk. We'll provide you with a Bluetooth. Kind of like a remote for your phone. It will Bluetooth to any phone, like Android and iPhone, and they could use that to take the picture. And all my ring lights have like a clamp. I don't know if you see this one back here, but it's like a little clamp right there. They put their phone on that clamp, and then they can back up and use the little clicker to take their picture. So if you came there alone, you can technically do that all by yourself. But if you want a friend to help you, you can still have your friend help you. Y'all switch. I like to call it selfie sisters. Like you kind of switch and your friend takes some pictures, switch back, you take some pictures of your friends and then you put it on the clamp and take some pictures together.
Okay. And most
And
people
then,
who,
mhm.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say you have access to the whole entire building. So you can do pictures in all the sets because I know some people were thinking you only rent one room, but it's really you have access to all of them.
Okay. And then I was gonna just ask, like, most people that you see who come through, are they coming alone? Are they coming in groups? Like, what have you noticed mostly?
I see most people come in pairs. There's some people that come in groups. If they do, it's like kind of like part of their itinerary for their birthday or something like that. So, but a lot of people come in pairs so they could do like the selfie sister thing. And that, I think that's perfect. Like if you have that one friend that wants to just dress up for a day and go get content, that's like the perfect thing to do. Like to just have that, come to the selfie showroom.
Okay. And then also your selfie showroom is open to photographers as well, right? So if someone wanted to have like a official birthday shoot, the photographer and the person, as long as they both pay for a ticket, they're able to come and shoot, correct?
Yes. So they can bring like a battery powered light and just do their shoots in there. It will be a shared space, so they're not guaranteed for it to be completely private. If you want to guarantee it's completely private, I have the private options as well on Mondays and Tuesdays. But for the most part, it's not gonna be a whole bunch of people staring at you really because and if they are staring, they're admiring you, if anything. But most people are like in there trying to get their own pictures in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I do operate by capacity. I make sure that, everyone who's in there has a ticket. So it's just not a whole bunch of people sitting around, stuff like that. That way, most people in there are being active and they're actually taking selfies.
Yeah, because I noticed when I came that there was, I think there was like one or two photographers there, and then a couple people, like came in groups. I was by myself,
Mhm.
so it did feel kind of weird, but nobody was like looking at me. But it just feels awkward because you're like by yourself, but everybody else comes in pairs.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the experience. It was fun for me. Something different because I never did anything like that before. And I just really enjoyed the creativity of it all, like seeing the different rooms, the different
Hmm.
setups, and just seeing stuff like that is just kind of like inspirational in general as like a creative, as a photographer myself. So
Hmm.
I just really enjoyed the vibe of it. It's a really nice,
That's good.
nice setup. So okay, my next question is, so you were doing photography for what, 13 years
Hmm.
before? So when did you say, okay, photography, I'm done, I'm ready to try something different? Like when did that kind of happen?
That was, I mean, probably since, like, I'm 33 now, and probably since I was like 31, I kind of started to, I like, after the pandemic and the rush and all that stuff, I kind of started to get that burnout. And that's
Mm,
when I kind of was like, you know what? I'm like, when I really looked back on everything, I was like, I really am doing like the same amount of work, if not more, than as I was when I first started. And I don't think that everyone's gonna have that problem. You know, if you brand your photography business right, you could have it where you have certain photographers, so you're not burnt out. Like you can have a group of photographers eventually, and then, or you can have a team that like, oh, this team edits, this team books, this team, you know. But I had, the way I had branded it, it was like people got used to just me, and they didn't want anybody else. They didn't want nobody else to touch their photos. They didn't want nobody else shooting them. Like I couldn't, like if I had a bad day or if I was sick, I could not hand that camera to nobody else and say, hey,
mm,
could you handle this shoot? Like my clients would have a fit. And I might have a fit myself, you know, thinking, oh, you know, I don't know if I could trust this person to shoot it, you know, the right way, or, you know, it's the way that I feel like I branded it to where it didn't have any expansion. It
okay.
was just me, and I was grinding myself to the ground with it. And I just got to the point where I was like, I need an exit plan. Even if I do continue with photography, I still need something to say if I decided, you know, one day that I was going to settle down and I was going to get married
Hmm.
and have children and stuff like that, that I
Right.
wasn't going to not have any income because I had, you know, I'm sick, or, you know, I'm trying to have maternity leave or anything like that. I kind of just felt like it was the best move for me. That way I can have that freedom and not feel like I'm just under the pressure of photography.
Mm,
So that's kind of what just kind of came across my mind, especially when I was like, I just got to a breaking point where I was like, I'm editing so much that I don't even get out. I don't go and mingle. I don't go to restaurants. Nobody sees me. My husband is not going to knock at the door and say, "Hey, let me check out what you're editing."
right.
So I had to figure out a way to get away from the desk and live life. You know.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the upside downside to being like a solopreneur too, because essentially everything falls on you, and like you're so invested in it that people don't understand that it
Mhm.
takes, it's you, like everything is literally falling on you.
Yes.
So I have the same problem too. Like, you know, when I take the pictures, it's me. I'm doing the editing, I'm doing the emails, invoices, set the point, like all of that, and it can consume you if you're not careful. Did you ever like try to work with somebody else? Like try to have another photographer under you, or like partner with anybody? Like was that ever a thought?
I tried with the editors. It was hard with the editing because I was so used to my style of editing. I just couldn't find anyone that really did the same style. So what I was doing is I was paying editors to edit, and then I was editing over their edits, and
Oh,
it kind of was counterproductive. Like
productive, yeah.
it didn't, you know. And maybe if I took out the time to actually show somebody how to edit, you know, maybe they could have took the
Hmm.
place as the editor. Like I said, it's pretty much about the branding and stuff. But I was already 13 years in, and
Right.
I didn't think to try to start that sooner, and that's where the problem was. But even with starting it sooner, it's not like I was from year one. It's not like I was popping from year one. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until like
Right.
year 7, 8 that I actually was starting to pop. And
Right.
that's, you know, by that time I was just so used to, you know, getting in the gigs that I didn't even think about my future of it. I didn't really think that eventually. To me, I thought that I, you know, created something that I had time to, you know, I felt like I had time, you know what I'm saying? I had opening, you know,
Hmm.
open opportunity. Like if somebody wanted to talk to me, a friend wanted to talk to me, I felt like I could talk to you all the time because I'm editing right at the computer. So all you have to do is call me and we could talk. But
Right.
you know, the world is now so text. text this and text that, and it's get to the point where nobody wants to talk on the phone no more. So I just learned that I just had to sit in silence and edit or make some changes. So, but yeah, I
Very true.
think the editing would have been my best route, is to find a outsource to a different editor if I wanted to continue that. But I just been doing it so long, and I got to that burnout stage that I just wanted something different. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Like, I understand this idea of like you're so invested, not wanting to let go of certain things. Like, you have your own systems and like how you handle it, so they can definitely be like a challenge. So, especially when it comes
Hmm.
to editing, because as photographers, as artists, hey,
Yeah.
we know how we want stuff done, what people expect to see from us. Like, it's just
Right.
that's your signature, like your photography, your final edits. That's what people come to know you as. So,
Mhm.
like, I can understand being very sensitive about that because I'm the same way. Like, I've outsourced editing like here and there, but mostly kind of like as needed. If it's like, hey, so I need you to help me like with this background over here because I can't do that.
Mhm.
But mostly everything else, like I do try to do myself. So
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, and I'm only what like 4 years in. So I can imagine of like years and years of just like doing it, how you can be like, all right,
And
well,
and I like enjoyed every bit of it up until I turned 31. And just like there was just something, and then I lost a lot of friends at that time. And I guess everyone goes through a transition, different season and stuff, where it's like you start to realize what friends you should have and should not have and stuff like that. So I just maybe I was honestly exhausted from my work, along with friends that were kind of,
mhm.
burying me and their problems and stuff. I'm just trying to be save everybody, but you just got to focus on yourself sometime. So I ended up dropping a lot of friends around that time, and just try to focus on what I wanted. And I think it just worked out that way, where I just went for it, starting the selfie museum.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you feel like now with running the Selfie Showroom that you do have a little bit more of that freedom to go out, have a
Hmm.
drink, sit down, kind of just like
Yeah.
actually enjoy life outside of that?
Right. I mean, I don't drink or smoke, but just to be able to go out is kind of like a luxury for me. Like that I can go and sit down and eat at a restaurant or something, I didn't really have that, because unless the computer was coming with me, I couldn't do it. So yeah, and it's just I liked it the way I branded it, the way I did it, because I made it to where there doesn't have to be necessarily anybody that, like, I still had to train them on, getting people in and learning, telling them how to work their camera, their phone, and all that stuff like that. But other than that, at least I have someone that's I could say, hey, I'm gonna be sick today. Not that I plan to be sick, hey, I'm sick today. I can't. Could you handle today? Versus being a photographer, there was nobody that was gonna be able to just take that camera and do my whole day of shoots. There that wasn't gonna happen. So I did have a time where I got really sick, and baby, I wasn't gonna cancel them shoots. I did them shoots from the floor, sick.
Oh wow.
Like, I set up them sets from the floor, but I had my assistant, so thank God he helped me out. His name is Therese. He helped me out that day a lot more than he usually do, and I was able to get through the day. But that was a big wake up call for me. Like, just realizing there was no one I could just hand all the work to. Hey, can you handle today? Like I can now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do think that how you have done the selfie showroom is probably a lot smarter. That way you don't have to like be there and your business can still run, which is smart. And I think that's something that maybe a lot of like, entrepreneurs, like when they're starting off, they kind of struggle with that or don't think like how can I set this up beyond just me?
Mhm.
I'm kind of like starting to think about that too, of like, okay, so what happens if, I'm sick, or, I
Yeah.
can't do I trust someone else. So it's like all those things that you have to think about that people don't tell you when you sign up to be a business owner. Like, people just think like, okay, this is my business, I'm gonna run it, I'm gonna be here. But no, at some point you do have to like position yourself so that you can trust other people with your business. Like, it's still your business, but it's okay to step away and have that peace of mind. So, but it can be, I
Mhm.
know it can be a scary transition for a lot of people. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because I feel like as business owners, as entrepreneurs, that people don't talk about that piece enough. That,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, I'm a hustler, I'm a grind, I'm gonna do this, but at what point can you actually step back and enjoy the fruits of your labor, or like step away and
Right.
say, yeah, this is my business, but I'm just taking a back seat and letting the business do what I want it to do. Like,
Right.
because I mean,
And
the
it might
goal,
not
nobody wants. Go ahead.
and it might not need to be like like you don't have to do what I do where you completely just AWOL'd the photography thing. You could still be in the industry, work in the industry and stuff, but you might want to do something like you might start doing YouTube clips of how to do lighting or something like that. You might start doing that, and then you get that up and running and starts to monetize, and you start to get income off of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's just having another stream of income that's really important. So you don't necessarily have to go AWOL and say, "Oh, I'm just going to completely stop photography." I mean, at some age, it's gonna be hard for us to crouch down and do the angles that we do, and stuff like that. So it's just having another stream. At the end of the day, you might create something, or you might start selling a special type of print, like print your photos on purses or stuff. You never know. You might create something that a lot of people will start to purchase off of. That way you have another stream of income along with what you do. But me, what I was doing, I just didn't calculate it right at the time, and I didn't have another stream. I just had that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All of that is very much key. And I definitely think that like that's something that more business owners should express, because when you're
Hmm.
fresh in it, you're thinking about your future, but you're not thinking about your future. You're more concerned about how do I get in it enough to sustain me, and
Yeah.
sometimes get to the sustaining point, and literally you are like surviving. You're like, I
Right.
have a system, it works, but man, like
Yeah.
it's a
No.
push to keep it working. So,
Yeah. And the last thing I
but
want to do is discourage anyone from starting off, because going full fledged with their photography and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I think I'm older than YouTube, and I'm older than TikTok. And I'm clearly older than TikTok. I'm older than Instagram.
right.
I'm older than all of those social media. When I started off with photography, we had MySpace. So we didn't really, and we just had, like, when I was like 18, we had like Facebook come out and stuff.
Hmm.
So there is so many other channels and other ways to maximize your income with being a photographer at the same time, and optimizing stuff and all that stuff. Like, literally, and I had to really look it up because I can't really remember all of it. But I am older than a lot of these platforms, and I didn't have those platforms starting out. We didn't have Instagram starting out.
Right.
So because people see me quitting now, they might feel like, and there was a photographer I know that was like, he had amazing work, and he was quitting at the time I started. But I still did it because I still was passionate about it. I don't want anybody to be discouraged about the passion about it. Back then, we didn't have sales on lives. We weren't
Yeah,
able to
no,
go live and
that was
and
not a
make
thing,
coins
right?
and all that stuff. So we didn't have those opportunities. we probably had like iStock to where we could sell our photos on iStock and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but that's the gist of it. Now that you can get your business and your word of your business out there more and stuff, there's bigger opportunities. I saw a girl on TikTok that she ended up shooting with Sierra based off of some of her recreates of different movies and stuff. Yeah,
Oh
you
wow.
never know what kind of connection you have from that. So they definitely shouldn't be discouraged at all just because they see me leaving the game. It's not that I completely hate it. I love it. I love what I do. It's just that back then when I had first started, there was not a lot of sources. So that's why I also didn't think, oh, let me do this
Mm-hmm.
or let me do that. So I have another source of
Mm-hmm.
income. There wasn't that around. I'm older than all these platforms.
Right.
So that's the main thing that people need to think of, because when they're like 2 years in, 4 years in, 6 years in, they they might feel like, well, dang, this person's been doing it for years and now they want to quit. So should I start quitting? No, you should just start planning. What are you going to also have in that kind of goes in the same realm of what you do that you could still
Mm-hmm.
earn income off of?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It's all about like pivoting, making a transition. Because when I started photography, like when I first picked up a camera, I didn't even see like photography as a profession. I was just like trying to blog, get some photos, because I was like fresh out of college. It was like
Mhm.
2012, and I was like, oh, I just need some outfit of the day pictures, and
Uh-huh.
didn't know
Oh.
nothing about anything. I just was like, let me just take these pictures, and I was
Hmm.
into the fashion and photographing models, but I almost wish that I had tuned in a little bit earlier back then when I was blogging versus waiting years and years later to pick it back up and be like, oh, let's like connect these dots from all these years ago. I feel like
Right.
I probably would have been further along, even though like you said though, like Instagram, I'm older than Instagram too because I'm 31, but
Uh-huh.
like you said, like when I was blogging, just I was like, okay, this is it. Like the blog is gonna get myself out there. Like you said, Facebook, MySpace, like that's where I was sharing my photos, but I never
Mhm.
like thought beyond that at all. Like I was just like, oh, it's just something that I
Yeah.
do. But it's
I mean,
like
what you're doing
now,
now is definitely amazing.
right? Yeah. So
You're
it's
incorporating all of it together.
mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like full circle now. But back then when I picked up the camera, I was just like, I just want to, have fun, do something that I enjoy doing. But you are absolutely right. Of like now when you start, people that you do have a lot more opportunity to kind of like get yourself out there and have your stuff seen.
Hmm.
And you also do have the potential to grow a lot faster than some of us in the past have too, because things do get kind of like, sped up because of that. So the other
Right.
thing is like just knowing, how to pace yourself and trust yourself in the process of that too. So that's
Hmm.
good that you brought that up. So what do you think is like the biggest difference between running the selfie showroom and then running a photography business? Like what's been the biggest difference?
I guess the biggest difference is definitely the volume, which is something that I had a goal for. Like, I wanted to be able to, like, I wanted more people to be able to celebrate their birthday in any budget, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if they really just, at the time, they just put too much on maybe their trip to Cabo, and now they want some pictures that they can just like say, hey, happy birthday to me. They can come to Selfie Showroom, just do the $28 general admission, and they could take their own photos with their phone, versus having to, try to budget in hiring a photographer. But if they really couldn't go on a trip, maybe they could do their photographer and then have multiple scenes. Some people I know planned in their head so many different outfits that they wanted to do, so they could bring all their outfits to change. And I just feel like it'll just be any budget that you want to do. The volume is definitely different though for me. So there's so many more people that are able to use the Selfie Showroom than I was ever able to accommodate as a photographer. So at the end of the day, I had so many people I had to turn down because I couldn't do their shoot because I was too booked up. And sometimes that people would call and it would just be too big of a project for me to handle. But they just they wanted it because of the scene. They wanted they wanted to
Mhm.
shoot me because I had Barbie box. They wanted to shoot me because there was throne chairs. So now that that is open for everybody, it makes it easier for you to do it. So mainly just the volume. The volume definitely is the difference. But as far as like the customers, I do still get shy people, stuff like that. So I do still see a lot of the same habits from photography over to here, but I think it helps them better that they can kind of be on their own doing their own photos. They can see themselves versus a photographer taking their picture. They get really
Mhm.
shy and all of that. So it makes it's just, I think there's pros and cons basically to all of it. More pros than cons though.
Okay. Yeah. So, let me see. I'm looking at my questions up here.
Hmm.
So, when you were opening the Selfie Showroom in the blog, you talked about the experience of having to go through like the permits and the inspections. So,
Hmm.
what was that like?
Now the permits and inspections, I didn't actually expect it to take really a long time because
Mhm.
they were telling me, oh yeah, permits get cleared within 2 days, but it really took 2 months.
Oh.
So that was a lot of like, it made me sad in a way because I was so ready to have it open, and I basically for 2 months I was just seeing wood. None of the walls was closed up and stuff, so I couldn't really even start on the sets and things. Then that's when I started doing like those tall walls with the plastic tablecloths and with the coffee filters. I started doing those because those were the only walls I could work on. But so many other people also was ready to see it, and I was just like really excited. So sometimes it's just the patient. You really had to have the patience for it. I had to come out of pocket a lot for the rent, before it opened. So that was a little bit, that made me sad as well because I wasn't even sure when I was going to ever open. So
Mhm.
having it be, if it was more predictable, I would have been okay with waiting, but I just didn't. I was just left in the dark, kind of waiting on the permits and stuff. So that was a little bit of a downfall for that. A lot of other stores I know like opened up really quick, and the reason I picked the place that I picked was because it needed very low like maintenance to get it
Okay.
up. You know what I'm saying? So everything was kind of compliant in there. The floors were already done, so I didn't really have to do anything but go in there and start decorating. So
Mhm.
that was the only thing, was the walls needed permits to be approved. They needed inspections, and that I didn't estimate into the time that I plan on opening.
Okay. And then how long was the process from like start to the time you opened of like when you were looking for the building to the day you were able to open? Like what was the time period for that?
It was 5 months.
5 months? Oh, that still sounds like kind of short though. Like I thought
I
you were gonna
mean,
say. I mean, I know a lot happened in 5 months, but that I was
well,
thinking you
I
were
think
gonna say like a year.
I was looking for the building probably like the last year, but then I stopped because I was like, when am I ever gonna really do this for real?
Okay.
So then I didn't really keep count of that, but I went to the building I'm in now. I went there back in December. I left it alone, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going back. So I went back there in May. So it wasn't like I was like spending like a whole year, I guess, pursuing it because I almost didn't think I was gonna do it.
Mm. And how did
Yeah.
you like find that building? Like, were you driving around? Did you get like listings? How'd you find it?
Oh, I drove around. I think I just kind of drove past it. I actually drove past it 5 years ago, and I was
Okay.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cute. This looks like somebody's business home." And it came across my mind again, and I was like, I wonder what it looked like now. So I went to go again, and that's when I saw there was a smoke shop there, a barber shop, and then that little corner area was all one piece. And like, because it used to be two different units, so it was all
Okay.
broken into one unit. And I was peeking in the windows. I was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking in my head that was somebody's business home. I just didn't know whose. And I thought it was going to be someone else, but it's feeling like it's going to be me.
Yeah.
So
Did you
I
what do you know what it was before? Like what were the two
it
buildings
was just
before?
vacant. It was vacant before. When I had went there 5 years ago, it was just vacant. It's like
Oh.
I don't know what, I didn't really pay attention to the development of that whole plaza, but from what people told me, it used to be Kmart, and the part that I'm at used to
Mhm.
be the garden center or something. And then they made it
Oh.
into and then they made it into those units and stuff since they changed the roses. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's what I heard. But when I went there, it was vacant. I was looking through the windows and I was thinking, oh, this is somebody's business home, because I already had a studio at that time, so I didn't think of it as like, oh, I'm gonna move here, because I was already in another studio.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So what has been like the biggest lesson that you've learned in going through the process of pivoting your business and opening up the Selfie Showroom?
I believe, well, patience is definitely the biggest lesson. It's having the patience. And then, like, just knowing all your potential of everything you pursue. Also, I feel like learning that, like, let's say, I guess you know how the saying, all money isn't good money, but it's kind of like that saying, but not, but kind of saying all gigs isn't good gigs to do. Like,
Okay.
I actually started as a graphic designer, and I did graphic design for like a few years. I studied graphic design in school. So when I
Okay.
came out, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get hired by a firm. Wasn't any firm out there to hire, to get hired by. So I decided to do it myself. Realized it just wasn't for me as far as like freelance. I couldn't do it freelance. So then I started working for Beauty Depot, and I just wanted to work strictly for Beauty Depot, doing just their graphics. So I started working there, doing that. I learned a lot about business when I was working there. So in marketing and all that stuff, I actually learned a lot, even though they were asking me to do the designs, just the way that he markets it and stuff like that, and takes that design and really turns it into profit, is like a big lesson I learned.
Hmm.
I was also working at a website company, um, and it was kind of like I was doing a graphic design, but it was more of like just templated sites. So I kind of just,
Okay.
it was a call center for the most part. But uh, then that's when I started doing, I was doing photography actually, way before I even started with Beauty Depot. So all through that, I was doing photography, and then I quit Beauty Depot and did photography full time, and then that's how I transitioned to this. So just learning that even though you might have learned that in school and stuff, and you had the talent to do the graphic design, that doesn't mean you have to do it in the sense of freelance. Like, you don't have to take your graphic design skills that you learn and apply it directly to clients. You can apply it to yourself, your own brand, your own business. So that's what I end up doing with my photography and my in my Selfie Showroom. I'm doing the graphic design, I'm doing the website, I'm doing all this media work myself, from what I've learned and what I've done in the past. So I don't know what phrase to call it, but it's kind of like, you don't have to spread yourself thin and be a graphic designer and a photographer and, you know,
Hmm.
a multimedia specialist and a website designer. And, you can bu- umbrella it, I guess, and
Hmm.
your own thing.
Yeah.
So now, uh huh.
Yeah. It's almost like a package deal.
Yeah. So I end up. So now I'm trying to pursue being an influencer, as well as just a little bit of a like teaching and stuff, and letting people know where to get like stuff for their business and photography, or even if they just want it for their own content creation. So that's what I'm kind of pursuing as well.
Okay. Well, that's good because I've noticed that too. That people are like more interested in learning, I guess, more of the methods and like the behind the scenes stuff than sometimes the actual skill, if that makes sense. I mean, part of it is a skill, but they kind of want to know more of like, how do I get to that point?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've realized I've just, I kind of watch marketing and all that trends and stuff too. And I just noticed that a lot more people they're like, if you sell what's in your brain, if you sell the up here, that's where the real
Mm-hmm.
money is, because essentially
Right.
anybody can teach you the skill. But I guess
Mm-hmm.
having that like specific method or like that specific application is what's, I guess, like unique to you. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like definitely not spreading yourself too thin or like a package deal of like, yes, I can do all of these things, kind of, and
Yeah.
not necessarily
I think
having
I
to.
was. I guess what you would call it is I was people pleasing. I wanted
Mm,
everyone to be happy with my services. So, oh, you need a business card. Oh, I'll make a business card. Oh, you need photography. Oh, I'll do your photography. Oh, you need a website. Oh, I got to do a website. But then I just kept failing at certain things. The only thing I really kind of grasped onto and kept longer was the photography part. And I realized just for my mental health and stuff, that was easier to do and less time consuming for me to do, than the graphic design.
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. What do you think is like the biggest misconception about running a business?
Pretty much that, the overnight success of it, or because some people will say, "Oh, I opened this up and it made six figures in less than 3 months." You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't want everybody to have that expectation when they're opening a business. You're gonna have a slow start. Every business is gonna have a slow start. And you just gotta be able. You gotta have that hustle mentality that like, I'm not giving up on this. For me, the motivation is that I'm too deep in. You know what I'm saying? To turn back. So that motivates me to do what Ken says, is to get up and get to work. So
Right.
yeah, but I'm too deep in to turn back. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get the hustle, the money back. And so that's one thing that I think is kind of confusing for people, is that they'll open up a business and they'll say, "Man, I've been open for a week and nobody bought anything," and it's like, you have to get yourself out there. You got to do everything. You got to put everybody got to put their eye on you. When I was a photographer and I just started out, we had this website called Model Mayhem, and I don't know if
I
been
think
on
I
it or
did
anything.
hear that. Yeah.
So I was on Model Mayhem, and my goal kind of with that was, I don't care if they book me or not. I just want them to see my name for the first time. So I added all the models from my area as friends on there. Just add, and you know what I'm saying? Because regardless if they use me or not, they would have went to their friend request and saw Diamond Eyezzz photography. Oh, okay, that's interesting. It has a nice little ring to it. Oh, she has nice work and stuff. Even if they didn't hire me, at least they would, if somebody else turned and was like, "Hey, yeah, you want to, you have you heard about this girl? Her name is Diamond Eyezzz Photography." Wait, I recognize that name, So I just kind of just wanted them to see me, regardless if they were going to use my services or not. I just wanted them to see the name, so that later on, when they hear that name again, they'll be like, "I already know that person." So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, it can't be overnight success. You got to work at it. You got to hustle. You got to find different ways to get. people in. I started adding friends that also look like, on Facebook, I started adding girls that look like they like to take selfies and they like to take pictures because they're more likely to hire me. So you just got to think of strategies that work for your business and not completely think it's going to be overnight success.
You definitely have to be very strategic and creative in how you put yourself out there because, I mean, now a lot of people, you might be relying on the social media, which is fine, but it's other methods and other like outlets of just, being creative on how you put yourself out there. So
Hmm.
definitely before social media, you definitely had to be creative about how you put
Yeah.
yourself out there. I mean, whether that was like, I'm gonna go to this mixer, or like, hey, let me shoot this person this email. Oh, let me leave this business card here. Maybe somebody will come upon it happenstance. Like, I
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
think when you kind of like start a business or you get into some zone of entrepreneurship, you do have to like really exercise those creative muscles of like, how am I gonna market myself and do something a little bit different. Like, even though it might be the same, like, this is my particular touch to how I'm gonna do it.
Mhm.
So,
And then social media, even though social media is pretty big and a lot of people do get notice on there, that's not the only way to market. You have to do the footwork too. Get your business cards and go to salons and drop them off
mhm.
and stuff like that. So, well, for photographers, but you can't do that for like if you're if you're a stylist, you can't just go to other salons. Um,
Right.
but yeah, for a photographer, you could do that, and just get yourself out there.
Okay, so as we were talking about, being inspired to start your business or, like how you market yourself and things like that, who was somebody that kind of inspired you to get into photography and kind of be where you are now?
I think um, there was pretty much a couple photographers. I actually had started editing other photographers' photos first, um, but it was a good and bad thing because one of them didn't pay me, and I thought to myself, you know what, I could probably shoot the same person and then like edit it myself. I don't think I need to work for you, so I could just do it all myself. I could just do the shoot and I could do it. So that's why I actually kind of jumped into photography. But I was taking courses already in college, so that's what gave me the kind of that um courage to be like, yeah, I can do the shoot too. So but those photographers did inspire me. I can't remember his exact name, um, but I know that the one that I said that had stopped photography, his name was Corey Focus, and just when I was jumping in the game, he like jumped out the game, and his work was so amazing. So I like really liked, admired him when I had started out. So they're just here and there. I don't think most of them that I was inspired by are doing photography anymore. And now here I am
Oh,
following in their
really?
footsteps.
Wow. Wow. Were they like older when you were like initially following them or like were they the
Yeah,
same age as you or
they probably at the time, like I was like 18, 19. So at the time they were probably in their 30s. I really couldn't remember, but yeah, it's probably just, now I'm seeing how, you know, how it feels to have done that, done works that many years and now feel like, you want to transition.
were any of them people who were from Jacksonville or like were they from all over from another city?
Yeah, they were from Jacksonville because,
Okay.
at first I had MySpace. We didn't have all that reach. I didn't know anybody outside of Jacksonville when I ended up moving here.
I got you. Got you. That is so funny. So I kind of want to do, I guess, what's like a lightning round of questions, just this or that type of questions. Real simple. Okay, so you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so Nikon or Canon?
Canon.
Okay, an outdoor shoot or studio?
Both.
Both. If you have to,
No, I
you
like.
have to pick one.
Huh?
You have to
Oh,
pick
I gotta
one.
pick
Do you have
one.
a
Oh,
preference?
okay. Studio.
Studio.
Yeah.
Okay, Lightroom versus Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Okay. Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
Oh no. I listen, I'm like struggling with that TikTok. I don't know. I'm like, should I be on there?
It's about the trending sounds. Sometimes it's the trending sounds like you have to use, and it has to kind of relate the most. The first viral video I think I had was the it was a lot of videos I had of my 16-year-olds or all my clients that come in, and it would say black girls are pretty, black girls are pretty, they're so pretty. And
Ah,
so that's the first one that went viral for me, and I think it's just the trending sounds. Now with Instagram, it was just so hard with Instagram to kind of get noticed because not everybody would tag me. So,
yeah.
I would post, but and it's funny because my Instagram following for the Selfie Showroom has exceeded my following in less time. I've been working
Mm.
at that since 2015, okay?
Oh my
And it's
gosh.
made and my Selfie Showroom has made more followers in less the time than I have in years.
Oh my goodness. That's
So I guess if
crazy.
unless you're shooting celebrity, I guess it's hard for Instagram itself. But I know Instagram's trying to make some changes to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Instagram and TikTok, they're so similar right now. I don't know. They're starting to be very similar, even though I know TikTok has its own, advantages or whatever. But then I'm also kind
Hmm.
of like, I guess the reason I'm hesitant is because one, I feel like I already do enough with just. What do I have? I have Instagram, I have Facebook, and then I have my website, and I do some stuff like on my personal Twitter, but I don't have like a specified Twitter for my photography.
Hmm.
But I'm just like, do I want one more platform to
Yeah.
manage?
Now I know I did say that you don't want to spread yourself thin, but that's not pertaining to social media. For social media, you need to have all of them that's available.
Right.
Which I should take my own advice when it comes to that because I don't got a Tumblr and all that stuff. But you should have all of them because if that's one thing I did learn about the website company is that stuff pulls up in Google and like it starts to get you more traffic the way that you want it. Facebook, you need a Facebook regular Facebook friend page, personal page. Then you need a business page. Then for
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I just made I made a separate page for a Selfie Showroom because I already knew Diamond Eyezzz was going to be an influencer later. So that's why I did that separate. But originally, it was just one. It was just me and my business, in which I feel like that's okay if you're a makeup artist or something like that. You could have
Mm-hmm.
one page with personal
Right.
stuff plus makeup. Like you're still showing your face that you did your makeup on. So either way, I think that still blends together. So Instagram, it seems like you only need one profile, and then TikTok, I feel like you kind of only need one. But I did separate them because of the fact that Diamond Eyezzz is going to be an influencer. So, but I think TikTok is very much needed. um, Twitter, I'm still need to learn Twitter more, but
Okay.
I think it's really catchy, especially when you put your thoughts in there and stuff. People like to share the thoughts, so it's very important to have. And I didn't see some of the thoughts come from Wendy's that were savage, and that's what makes Twitter Twitter, like for them to have savage thoughts come on. So it looks like you kind of need, I know it feels like you're spreading yourself thin with so many social medias, but you kind of just need them all because there's
Mm-hmm.
no way to get around, only having one. People are going to try to look you up on each one. YouTube as well. I saw the
Mm-hmm.
YouTube's doing YouTube Shorts. So you might can start with the reels on Instagram, transfer that to TikTok, transfer that to YouTube Shorts. Like you can try to find a way to condense it to where you can make posts for everything. I know Instagram connects to the Facebook
Yeah.
pages, or it connects to your personal
Mm-hmm.
profile. So whatever you post there, it'll post on automatically on your profile. So just find ways that it can all connect, and then that maybe take off a little bit of the work. But yeah, you need all platforms at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like people need to find you.
Yeah.
You would have to follow the basically how any other business follow, big business, like big franchise. Like if Target has a Twitter, you need to have a Twitter. Target has a
Right.
TikTok, you need to have a TikTok. Like I remember I was on TikTok, and Dr. Phil was on TikTok doing like some type of dance, and I was like, you know what? If Dr. Phil is on TikTok, I need to be on TikTok.
Oh my
There's no
gosh,
excuse
Dr. Phil's
for
on
me to be on
TikTok.
TikTok,
Really?
not doing a trend if Dr. Phil is on TikTok. Yeah, you just
Wow.
have to. And everybody knows Dr. Phil, so it's like even if he wasn't on TikTok, he still would be popping. But the fact that he got on the trend of every social media, because you never know what market of people are only on TikTok or only on Facebook or only on Instagram. And it really sucks that us as the business has to, accommodate for everybody being on only one platform. But
Hmm.
it's gonna be beneficial in the end.
Yeah, yeah, it's true because I mean, in some sense, the audience is it's kind of the same, but the audiences are segmented in a
Hmm.
little sense too. So you do have the opportunity to reach some different people on each of those platforms, even though some of the stuff all
Hmm.
runs together. But you'll have your different people in the different platforms, which is really good for
Yep.
exposure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about me and TikTok because, like,
Yeah.
right now I use a scheduler to do a lot of my stuff, but I'm just like, do I want to add TikTok? Because not that I'm not good with video, I just know that for me that takes a lot more effort.
Hmm.
Um, and then like I'm working on the YouTube channel, which is why I'm doing this. Like this is still kind of like new to me too. Like I'm exploring more videos, showing more of my face.
Hmm.
Trying to get more in the habit of like talking more about the behind the scenes process. So video is just you cannot escape it. You can't escape
Hmm.
video. Essentially, that's the bottom line because
Right.
that's what TikTok is all about, the video. So that was
Because
good.
you
Okay,
get
I
a
have.
handy dandy selfie stick, and even if somebody's not there to record you, record a little time lapse or something. Just build the build the content as you go along. So if you're gonna
Maybe
set up for a shoot, or you're gonna do a shoot, set up your tripod, record it while you're doing the shoot. That way, you at least have the content if you decide later on to use it.
true. Maybe I need to do another visit to the Selfie Showroom and get some some content that I can use.
Oh yeah, I be hearing people. It be doing that little dee 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 dee, and they're like, it'd be funny because they're like, I gotta find a way to make this money by tomorrow, huh? I
Right.
gotta find this way, huh? I gotta find this way. Like I like overhear them do that. So like, just try to get some content. I just do like little videos of me turning around, spinning and stuff like. If you want to add your camera in there, put your camera up and stuff like that. You never know when you can use it later, and just it will just say, "Hey, I'm a photographer." You use that Siri voice and say, "Hi, I'm a photographer from blah blah blah."
Right, yeah, because the sounds are pretty interesting too. Like I have, listen, like right now for Instagram Reels, I have so many sounds saved, but I have yet to use enough of them. Like in my head, as soon as I hear it, I have an idea, but I think it's just like me and the application and the process of like put the content together. You have the sound, you already know,
Yeah, I have
but
a lot of them that a lot of my TikToks that I made are like videos that I did a long time ago. Like they're not really recent. Like when I find a sound, I don't necessarily say, "Oh, I got to create a whole new thing for it." I think in my head, what do I got in my camera roll I could put real quick onto this sound so that you can kind of utilize it somehow. So in a sense, even if you don't got the content right now, at least try to start getting in the habit of just building the content. Even though you feel like you might not use it right now, you might use it later. All those like speeches where it's like nobody's gonna show up, or on my TikTok and stuff like that. I didn't originally hear that sound and think, okay, I'm gonna make me a time lapse of me doing my stuff together, put my sign together or whatever, and I'm gonna use that sound. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that after hearing the sound. I just went ahead and recorded the time lapse first, and then I was like later on looking for sounds to see I could use. So sometimes it gets overwhelming because you're like, man, I gotta get with this trend or this transition. But really, it's just like just start just start recording content, and then eventually it become a habit that you start recording the content, and then you'll just already have content that you can use and upload and edit in there.
That's a good idea.
When people are in there taking selfies and stuff, every now and then I'll record them while they're taking selfies. I have no intention on using that right away. It might be 2 weeks down the line when they finally see it on like a video or something. So yeah, you just got to get in the habit to start doing it, and with no intention on what is going to go with, and then you'll discover what to go with. But if you need to add on to it, then you'll just record it, I guess, at that time. So if you need the beginning to say, "Oh, this is me, hi," and then it jumps to the next video that you pre-recorded a month ago, like you could do that.
That's a good idea, because I'm always like thinking that stuff has to be done in the moment. But you're right. Like anything could be content. Like just record it. Like just because. That's a good idea. I don't know why I didn't ever think of that, or why my brain didn't say, save it for later.
Yeah, because TikTok has that effect on even me, because I feel like, dang, I get with this trend. They're doing it right now, But then I just try to keep searching for things that I can just incorporate old content onto. Because I recorded a lot of photo shoots. I had an assistant that actually did all my behind the scenes. And what I would usually do is share the behind the scenes to the client themselves. That way they had something they can play with and post before the actual photos come out. So I just saved a lot of that content, and I just used it later on. I didn't really have the intentions of using it right away, or, oh, this will go perfect with this sound, or, so I guess I'm kind of lazy when I do. But I just learned how to do my makeup.
That's smart though. I mean, that's kind of smart though. Like,
yeah.
Just you already have it like in your arsenal. You don't even have to think about it. Like you just hear a sound and then you can connect it with something you already have. So half the work is, at least most of the work is done. You might have to add something here and there, but majority of it is done. That's smart. It's not lazy.
Oh, okay. Because I really be thinking, almost every sound I'd be thinking, what's something I already recorded I could apply to this, so I don't have to record a new one.
I'm gonna have to start thinking like that. I gotta get in the habit of just like recording, just because it might run across something I can actually use. I don't know. That's a good idea. I'm gonna keep that nugget. Okay. I have one more question. Well, two more questions. Natural light or studio light?
Studio light.
Studio light. And then, what's your favorite camera lens?
The standard lens, by beyond popular belief, everyone thinks I had this special lens or something. I'm like, I use a standard camera. I use a standard camera lens. Like if
really,
I guess if I had branded to do, more higher end or more celebrities or something, I would probably use a different lens or start investigating a different lens and stuff. But I was okay with just my standard lens, zoom lens, and that's what I've been shooting with my entire career.
Oh wow! What camera were you using?
I was using the Canon 6D.
Oh, okay.
But
Wow.
before that,
Yeah.
I was using the Rebel. I was using
Okay.
the first camera I had was a Rebel XI or something, and then I think the second one was uh the Canon Rebel Ti,
Okay.
and then I
Yeah,
went to
because
60.
I think I started with the Canon Rebel 6, I think, T. I don't know if it was
Mhm.
the I or not. But then, like, now I shoot with the Mark 5D,
Mhm.
the 2. So I shoot with that one because I wanted, like, a full frame camera. But,
Mhm.
yeah. That's crazy. You shot with, like, the standard lens? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think
That's amazing.
because I had studied graphic design and I was doing all the retouching and stuff. I think
Mm,
most of my stuff in the post I was saving in post. Because when I kind of look
mm,
at like tutorials now of people that are teaching photography and stuff, they do try to teach that you try to make it good already out the camera. But
mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff I was saving in post, and I didn't think about making it look good in the camera right away. I was just thinking of, hey, I'll just edit that out, or I'll just do this. That's probably what
Yeah.
caused me that burnout to start with, is me saying, nah, just edit that. But sometimes some shots just be
Yeah.
too fire for you to want to redo it because a hair was sticking up, So,
I know, right?
hmm
It's like that one little detail that can ruin a picture, and you'd be like, oh man.
right.
So that's cool. I listen. I don't know why. I assume maybe you were shooting with different lenses or something. That goes to show, like, it's all about the eye of the photographer and just your skill.
hmm
Like, that speaks volumes. So I'm
Yeah.
like really shocked about that. Like, that's awesome
Right.
because I.
I think it is lighting, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's lighting, really. Because for me, I don't do constant lights at all. I do all strobe lights, even outdoors. So, the lights is really kind of, and then I think this also, like, people who do their makeup, if they do it with highlights in the right spots and stuff like that, contour in the right spots, you can really enhance their look just by simply the flash and editing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the lens could be very important too, as far as like the background, if you want that depth of field and stuff. But other than that,
Mm-hmm.
I've just been using standard lens. I didn't want to invest in so many lens at the end of the day, because I did end up getting like a 50 millimeter, but I realized I had to back up like all the way outside the building just to get the shot in the
Yeah.
studio,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
that
50 shoots.
it just didn't the math wasn't mathing for me. So I just went on ahead
Right.
and decided to stick with the standard lens.
Yeah, because you tend to shoot wider shots, like when you were in your studio, like so you could get the full setup and stuff like that. So yeah, the 50 didn't make a lot of sense for you.
Yeah.
Because the 50 is like here, like for those
hmm
intimate, like portrait kind of photos. But wow, yeah, because listen, I'm a lens person though. Like I love a good lens. I like the zoom lens, which is what I mostly shoot with. So I have like a 24 to 70 that I mostly shoot with. But I initially kind of like learned about lenses like with the prime lenses. So like the 50, like the 24,
hmm
the 85. And I kind of just, fell in love with those naturally. But even
Yeah.
still, like you change your lens, you still have to. It's your eye. It's how you see it, how you angle it. Like you said, the lighting, how you set things up.
hmm
So you're right. A lens is just a little extra touch,
Yeah.
but it's
And
still.
I think it's kind of like the whatever you want to brand yourself, because you don't want to have to experiment with a million different looks. You want one consistent look that people can depend on.
Mhm.
So I just felt like that was my look, and once you feel like that's your look, that's your look. Not joking, but I just felt like that was just my look.
I
So
broke, don't fix
I didn't
it.
want to experiment too much outside of that, because that looks had worked for me, and that was the look that sold, Diamond Eyezzz
Mm,
photography, and that people liked, and people felt like, oh, if I book her, I'm going to have this look. So,
that,
yeah.
how did you even come up with Diamond Eyes? Like, where'd that name come from?
My brother just called me Diamond Eyezzz one time, just looking at me. I think he was drunk at the moment, but he just called me that, and I was like, "That's kind of cute." So I just kind of just transferred it into my business name. When I was like younger, and I was doing my senior pictures, I did it with a freelance photographer, and she was like, and I was telling her how I really like photography and stuff, which was crazy because I was into like fashion design at the time, but I was like, oh yeah, I like photography. She was like, oh wow, well once you go to school and stuff, I'll hire you. And she was like, but I'm gonna just give you this advice: if you create a business, um, don't use your name as your business. Make your own little name for it. And I was like, oh okay. And so I kind of took her advice with that. And I'm glad I did, because there's too many ways to misspell my name. So, um, yeah, I just think it just worked out better, just to use Diamond Eyezzz, and I thought it was a cute idea, a cute name for it.
Yeah, I kind of took that advice too. So I feel like somebody else told me that about like not using your name for your business, or like you better be very careful if you do.
Hmm.
Which is why I went with something else that wasn't my name too.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it'd just be easier.
so at least
But some people do have like nice, unique names, and so I would, if I had
yeah.
a unique name that I feel like either people would commit to learning it, or people would, really know how to spell it, then I would have used it. But I kind of just felt like Diamond Eyes just sounded cuter. Like,
Oh, any like last words of advice to anybody like starting a business, or any like new photographers out
best
there?
advice is get up and get to. Not just joking. I think, well, I always say to people that, you should just go ahead and pursue what you want to pursue. What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for next lifetime? So just do it now. If you do it now and you fail, at least you did it. At least, more than likely, you're not going to fail. More than likely, you're going to be so passionate about it, you're going to get it up and running and stuff. So yeah, I see a lot of people that will say, or I've come across a lot of people who say, oh, I wanted to start this, or I wanted to start baking and stuff like that, but I just was afraid to start and stuff. It's like, start small, start somewhere, start doing it, because like I said, are we waiting until next lifetime or something? What are we waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
It's now or never. So
Right.
that's some big advice for me, and to give, like, to people who are wanting to pursue a business, and then those who are already kind of in business, or they feel any burnout. Just start to think of your future in you, and what you will be happy with in the long run, and then start to pursue that. And it takes notches to get to that, of course. Like, I'm just now learning how to do my face, what I'm saying, so that I can start to get to that notch of becoming an influencer. So you just have to, and everything's like a baby step, you know starting over
Mm-hmm.
with Selfie Showroom is baby stages right now, but eventually it will become what my photography was back then. So I mean, around this time last year.
Okay. And then you kind of talked about it a little bit. So you were saying that kind of like your next phase that you're working on is moving more towards like being an influencer. So you want to tell me a little bit about that before we
Hmm.
close out?
Yeah, I kind of want my niche to be um, like teaching other girls to build their own content. Um, because I'm not really good at hair and makeup and stuff like that. So, but I am a geek, and I know a lot about social media and stuff like that. Like, so I just feel like, well, obviously I know a lot about photography, I know a lot about imagery and stuff. So, I just want to try to, my niche to be helping girls build their content, learn how to build their content and stuff, because not everybody has the funds to dedicate towards a whole marketing team or something. And when you're starting small, you just want to get the content out there so that you can do something with it till you get to the point where you can hire a photographer, or you get to the point where you can hire a whole marketing team and stuff. So that's just little things I want to do, and I want to be able to sell geeky products for some reason. I want to sell the selfie sticks. I want to sell. They got videos that rotate while you walk or while you're doing demonstrations. Like I want to get into all those gadgets and show other people that kind of stuff. For some reason, I just that's what I want to do. And I like clothing and fashion as well, but I just want to be more, I guess, on the side of what can you do to build content. Like I want people to feel like, oh, let me go to her page and learn how to capture myself and edit my pictures and you know different things to market for my business that I want to run, or you know.
I think that is a very good like transition for you. Considering everything that we talked about and the way you're progressing. So I could definitely see that moving forward. That would be really good. I'm excited for that to see how that goes. Last question. Okay. Where can people find you?
Every social
Like on
media.
social media,
Exactly.
website?
You can find me on Instagram as Diamond Eyezzz with 3 Z's at the end, or the Selfie Showroom. Probably be easier to put the Selfie Showroom and just look in the bio for me. And then the Selfie Showroom as well on Facebook. You want to always keep it consistent. I'm also, but I'm Carissa Glanton on Facebook. But I'm also Diamond Eyezzz on Facebook too. So I kind of got a lot of social medias going on. Same thing with Twitter, Selfie Showroom. I think I couldn't put the because it didn't fit enough characters. And then on TikTok, it would be Diamond Eyezzz as well with 3 Z's and Selfie Showroom, the Selfie Showroom, because it was enough characters for that. So, and then you can go to selfieshowroom.com as well if you want to order tickets or see some of the stuff on the gallery. And then it also has all the links to the social media from there.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing this interview with me and being flexible with everything that was going on. So yeah, it was great talking with you. I definitely enjoyed our conversation, and I look forward to seeing what else is going to be happening with the Selfie Showroom. So we'll be seeing the growth and checking in on you as you continue to do what you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is all, and that's it, guys.
Bye.